Hi, this is Ron Miller. I am putting together a video series showing how to build a web store using the GearUp Sports OpenCart platform. This is the second video in that series, adding a simple item. And I can make this go away. And this is OpenCart. You've probably seen it before. But actually, before we get started on that, I want to talk a little bit about the stores and how they are put together and why they're put together the way they are. This is Hermiston. It's our biggest store. And you can see all the sports, the various sports that are here along the top of the menu bar. Now, we're getting away from this. We're building individual stores for each sport. But Hermiston likes it this way, and so I don't think they're going to be changing. But in a store this complicated, the order that the items are put into it, it's pretty important. And I want to show you kind of a little bit why and what I'm talking about. This is the featured section of the page. It's the most important, really. If I came to the Hermiston store, and even if I was a girls soccer mom or dad, I would come down here to the featured section probably and see what's here, just because it's here. Now this right now it's showing football. But I probably would look here first. This is right now it's the most active sport is typically what goes in the featured section, and we rotate those pretty regularly. The page, the featured page, I will show you later. We get to set the order on it. In other words, the way the items are displayed here is something that I can control. But up here in under the tabs, there really isn't a lot of control, and so we've come up with a solution. This is volleyball, adult sizes. There's also probably not for a volleyball. Oftentimes there is youth sizes, but this is the adult sizes, and you'll see that the T-shirts. We start with short sleeve adult, and here are the short sleeve women's. The long sleeve men's, the long sleeve women's, cotton shirt, the fleece hoodie, pants, and shorts. That's the general order for every store, and it's been tested. We've done thousands and thousands of sales, and we've been found to be the best order for things to be sold on the stores. So there is that, and notice that the colors. That it goes gray, black, purple, gray, black, purple, gray, black, purple, gray, black, purple. That also is on purpose. Now the trick is that the page is actually sorted alphabetically. So the way we do is by putting this little number right here. And so the very first item in a store is typically, here it's Hermiston Volleyball 10. This is Hermiston Volleyball 11. This is Hermiston Volleyball 12, and so on. Now, you'll notice as an aside that 13, 14, and 15 are not here. We go to 16. And that's because those are youth sizes, and so they would be under the youth tab. These numbers help just keep everything in order, and I can show you. I didn't mean to click on that, so I'm just going to make it go away. I'll show you the Menlo Park store, and it might make even a little more sense to you. The numbers 0 through 9 are reserved for typically for player packs. That's the most common thing, but sometimes there'll be a jersey or there'll be a shorts or something else that we'll put in those numbers, and so that's why we start with number 10, and then the order stays the same, as you can see: short sleeve, long sleeve, the hoodies, the more exotic long sleeve items like the Elements and the Therma hoodies, pants, shorts. This is a baseball site, so there are baseball pants, and then the backpack. And we just keep following the same order, and I'll show you as we build out an item. Kind of how we do that and why we do that, for at least some more reasons for doing that. So I'm going to set this aside, and I think now we can build our first order, or our first item. Over here on the left, under catalog, is products. You're going to spend a lot of time on the products page. This is where you're going to spend most of your time. And the first thing I'll show you is that, well, we can go look at Menlo Park. If I start typing in Menlo under the product name field, you'll see that they start appearing here. But if I go over here and click filter, what I have done is I've taken the 10,000 products that we have in our database currently, and I've sorted it. They're all in a big database, and I just did a sort, so all we're having to look at are Menlo Park, and so that's why there are only 21 items being shown. Those are all of the Menlo Park items. Next, I'll point out that that they're in order because this is also alphabetized, and you see them all the numbers as they go down the page. And this really is a big help to you, the store builder, to make sure you don't forget something, to make sure that you make them easier to find. Sticking to the standard order will be a big benefit to you, but I will admit that there is a learning curve. You're going to have to learn what that order is, and then from time to time you're going to be annoyed when you need to add. You realize you forgot the number 14 youth size shirt, and you went right to number this here, and there's you don't have to go into all of these items and change their number to make room for something up higher. It only takes a couple minutes, but it is one of those annoying tasks you won't be very happy about. One way you can avoid that is if you know that the store is going to be there are going to be items going in and out of it. You might want to do the T-shirts, for instance, going numbers 10 through 15, and then start with the 4 or 5 extra slots, extra numbers available to you, so you know at least you wouldn't have to be going back and changing them, all the numbers of all the items if you had to add something. So that's just something to think about. We had a person here a while ago who had the idea that he would put a decimal point to these numbers, and I don't see any advantage to that really, and it messed up the stores. And so when you come across that, those stores I know are still live. I noticed it a minute ago on Hermiston. Those stores are still alive. Please don't do that. It really didn't. It was a solution to a problem that wasn't a good solution. So anyway, that's the numbering system. There is documentation to show you the order, and I'll make sure you have that. If you don't have it yet, email me and ask for it. And what it does, it just says, okay, this is the first item in the store, this is the second item, and it lists pretty much the entire catalog of the commonly used items and what order they should be in. And then it's just a matter of sticking to the standard numbers. And going back to Menlo Park, while even for a relatively small store like this, the numbering system is useful because now I can click on youth sizes. So even though I can manually set the featured items and where they are, that it's nice that the youth page is in order, that because of the numbers 11, 14, 21, 23, they're they're not in sequential order, but they are in hierarchical order. So it keeps them. That's the numbering system. Now we're going to go on and build an item. Now, because number 10, the item that we number 10 on, I don't know, 95% of the stores or even more, is the short sleeve legend T-shirt. And because of that, I start with that item, and then I clone that item over and over again to create all of the items in the store. And I'll show you what I mean. I've typed in those first 3 numbers. I don't have to type in any further because it's there are no other items in the database that are going to mess that up. So if I go over here and click filter, what's going to come up here are 3 versions of the same item. And I have 3 here because that same person that added the decimal points, he also thought it would be fun to just use these items up. And so now we have backups. So you're going to click on it and then go up here to copy. And so we don't want to ever deplete this. And in a moment, the item will open. I should add that there's quite a bit of lag here because I'm recording my screen, and it makes my computer run really slow. So this is the product page, and we're going to start right here with the product name, which is California Redfish. And this is our first item, so it's number 10. T-shirt, but we are going with a yellow one. So I have to change that. That's the color of the t-shirt appears there. This box, this field, appears on the order form that goes through all of our production process, and it goes even to the customer. So this is written out here. All the information that goes here is being seen by production, and I want to make sure that it gives them the information they need to complete the order. And so sometimes you'll see that if there's a graphic, maybe there's a logo on the back end, it's really, this is targeted for production. So down here, this is not seen by production, and really is a place for the consumer to be looking. But the same information is important there, that it's a yellow shirt. Now this is the item description, and I'll show you on another item in a minute where this comes from and how that gets there. But because this template is all set up, and for the short sleeve dry fit legend shirt, I don't have to change any of this on item 1. So item 1 is always a little bit easier. I'm going to click on data. This is our model number, and this is the first 6 digits. These 6 digits are the Nike item code. These 3 are the color code, and since our shirt is yellow, our code is 727. Now this part is all our custom generated code. These first 3 letters are the store code, and I generate that, and I probably will keep generating it just to make sure that it's only one person, because we want these 3 letters to be unique. And so I maintain that list, and for California Redfish, their 3-letter code that I generate is CRD. The next 2 letters are the state, and the template is for Oregon, but this is a California store, so I'll enter CA. And then there's a dash, and that dash is there to simplify the order form. It helps production out and breaks up the text string. Here we have 5 letters, and this is the sport code, and I think we have about 12 or so, 14 sport codes, and I can provide those to you. This is a basketball store, so the 5-letter code is BXBAL. Now we're to these 3 digits, and they're really a wild card. Sometimes we'll have a store where they might have everything's the same, but maybe the logo, they've got 5 different logos, and so to differentiate between them, because the shirt's the same, all this other stuff would be the same, these 3 digits allow for differentiation even within that. The default is 001. I'm not going to make a change here, but if, for instance, there was a second logo, a third logo, I would just change that last number. It's also there future use. There might be other things we do with that. So I'm scrolling down the page, and you don't have to change anything all the way down to price. And the price is $25. That is the standard price of the short sleeve dry fit legend. You have to pay attention to the spreadsheet, because sometimes sales reps will change that. But for the most part, $25 is the price. Notice there are 4 decimal points. That's an OpenCart thing. They love to run out the decimals, so it doesn't really matter to me. Scrolling down, none of this changes, and in fact you really shouldn't change it until you get down here to weight. the weight of the t-shirts and all shorts, all the shirts is all I've set at 0.5. If it is a hoodie or pants, I'll make it 1.5. And if it is an element, one of those hybrid long sleeve but kind of lightweight element shirts, those I set at a pound, or even if they use it. But I keep that set. It's there. And then down here, when you create a new item or you've copied a new item, the default is to be disabled. So you have to enable it. Otherwise, you won't see it. So I'm now going to go up here to the model number, and I'm going to copy those 11 digits. And that's the 10-digit code for the item plus the underscore. And I'll show you what we're going to do with that in a second. So I've copied it. Now we're going to the link tab. The link tab is how we assign this item to the store. And right now there are no stores selected, but we want to attach this to. And it's funny, it makes my page scroll to scroll this window. I think it's a function of recording my screen. But here I'm going to click California Redfish. That's the store we're building out, and I just have attached it to that. Because this is the template item, nothing is checked in the entire list. So it comes up blank, and so all I had to do is click California Redfish. But if you have for some reason copied an item from another store and you're using it as the template, and you might find yourself doing that from time to time, be sure to uncheck it from that store, and check it. Just make sure there's only one check, and that check goes to the store it's in. So those are links. Categories. We're not going to. I'll show you on the next item how we use that. Now I'm going to click on option. Now the default item has the printed name on back and the uniform number printed on back. This is depends on what the salesperson wants. The sales reps, sometimes they want the uniform number, sometimes they don't. The default here for this template item is that they are here, and it saves you having to build it if the sales rep wants it. If the sales rep doesn't want it, and we're going to pretend here that he does not want the uniform number, so I'm just going to click the little minus symbol, and those go away. But I'm going to leave the printed name on back and name text. And I'll show you how those work. The printed name on back is a it's a $10 feature, and it's a yes or no question for the customer. And so this is the yes option. Yes, enter name text below, or no, and that's what's going to appear on the item. And I think if I go up here to Menlo Park, probably, I'm guessing, does it have it? It does not. Of course, this would be the one store to show you for an example. But it would appear here where it says, it would say, your name printed on back, yes or no. And if you say no, then you're done. But if you say yes, you have to enter the name. So I'm going to put that away. Of course, that wouldn't that one item would not show that. But oh well. So anyway, here is the how you set that up. And because this we're using a template, we didn't have to create this from scratch. Most of this is filled out for us. Subtract stock. What that does is if you were to turn this on, and you had your quantity set for 0, it's kind of a way to for OpenCart to manage inventory. And so sometimes you might have 5 shirts, and you might set the quantity at 5, or maybe we can only do 5 shirts with their name on the back, and I might enter the number 5. And if I did that, I'd want it to count down so that I would then turn on subtract stock. And so what would happen is, when the 6th person came and ordered this, it would have clicked down to 0, and this option would no longer be there. So for here, and I'll show you again on size, this is an additional price. This is an add-on price. So you saw earlier we had the price of this shirt was $25. If you want your name printed on the back, it costs $10 more. If you don't want your name on the back, it doesn't cost any more. And there is another option here, and that is you might set the shirt up so by default it comes with the the name printed on the back, but somebody may not want that, and so you can change this to minus, and that would minus out the $10 from the price of the shirt. So anyway, we want people to pick yes or no on this item. Now, as I click here on name text, this is a text field, and if someone has picked no above, we don't want them to have to enter something, and so for this one we have the required set to no, and I'll show you that later when we show you the completed item. Now I'm going to click on size. And this is the most important section, and where you're going to spend a little bit of time. Notice the subtract stock and quantity. This is the more common way that you might see that we want to count down an item. Sometimes we're running low on inventory. I know a year ago we were running low on women's hoodies, and so we might set that this size, the adult medium, we have 24 of, and we do want it to count down. And then each time one is sold, this ticks down until it gets to 0. When it gets to 0, this size disappears. So we don't have that situation today, so I want this. And we charge $5 more for XX, and for XXX it's $10 more. So the other thing to do here is this is tied into our inventory system, and so as items are bought, they're deducted from inventory, so that our people have a running count of how many we have of everything. And the way that works is I need to enter in the item code right here. And remember a moment ago I copied that from the data tab, and so now I was able to just paste it. And what I need to do is I need to add the size code at the end of that. And adult small is S. This is medium, this is large, this is extra large, this is 2XL, and this is 3XL. So last thing to look at, we can skip over the tabs all the way down to image. And this is the image for the default item, but we need to change it to our item. This is the image manager. You saw this if you watched video number 1. You saw this as a place where we put the logo and the header. This is also where items go. And so I'm going to click on the C folder, and then I'm going to click on California Redfish. And you can see this is the logo and these are the headers from that first video. But I'm now going to upload a couple of items. I'm going to click shoes. Close, and there they are. And we are working on the first one, the men's, and so I'm going to click that on and get anything. Make sure I got yellow in both these places. I might click on the data tab just to make sure that it's all there and that I got it all and that I got it enabled, and then I'll click save. So that's our first item. Now notice it's not here, and that's because it has we changed the product name. So if I click here and go to California and click filter, there is our item. And we are kind of off and rolling on our store. So I'm going to do copy, and then notice that it is disabled. So the enabled one is the one we just built. The disabled one is the new one that we've just made the copy of. And this is going to be a youth shirt. And there it is. And item very much. Change this part. I need to change it, the word adult, to youth. And youth. And all of this stays the same. And now we're going to go to the data tab. And I'm going to enter in here the youth SKU. So that's been changed. Expensive, but it's the same price for the short sleeve dry fit, so I don't need to change that. And I'm going to scroll down here and change the status to enabled. I'm going to scroll back up, and then I'm going to grab the code and copy and go to links. Now, because I have shown you this before, probably 3 or 4 times, you're probably tired of this, but I just like to point it out that up here, this is the category youth sizes. And we want this item, this is a youth shirt, to be assigned to it. And that happens here. Now, there's a trick. This list has grown and grown and grown. We have now, I don't know, 250 different categories. It's a big list. And it doesn't, OpenCart doesn't let you access the entire list. It stops at at showing you 5 options. So I've typed in youth sizes, and I've got all stars, baseball, basketball. None of these are just the standard youth sizes. And so the trick I came up with is I added an invisible. The youth sizes I'm looking for is here, and it's here because it has an empty space behind it. No one can see it, but I know it's there. Now, there are a number of instances of this, and I can tell you there are some of these categories that have 2 spaces or even 3 spaces, because that was the only way I could get it to show up in this list. And since I can't access it any other way, I had to come up with something. So there are some categories with 3 empty spaces, and I can't tell you what they are. Unfortunately, it's locked away in my brain. Feel free to do that. I'm happy to answer questions. So anyway, this is youth sizes. I'm going to click once on it. It leaves the field where I was typing it, and now it's here, and it's functioning. So categories can get complicated, I'll show you some of those complications on another video. So I click on options. Now the name text and the printed name on back don't need to change. They are, since we copied this from the adult version, those items are all those options are all still there. But size, I do need to change the sizes because these are all adult sizes. So I'm going to type in my code. This is the youth code, and I'm going to put the letter S afterwards. And this gets an M for medium, L for large, and XL. Now there's no comparison in the adult, for youth, XX or XXX. Those don't exist. So I'm just going to get rid of those lines by clicking on the red minus. So now we're down to 4, and I just need to change this to youth small, youth medium, youth large, and youth extra large. And because I got rid of those XX and XXX options, the price, there's no add-on upsell price on these. So that's all set. And then I'll just click on image. It's there. Nike doesn't give us a youth image for the t-shirt, so we don't mock one up. And so that just, you use the same image for youth. And I'm going to click save. So there, we have 2 items in our store. I already see I made a mistake, because this should have gotten a number 1 after it. You probably already noticed that. So I'm going to go back. It's always fun to have your mistakes caught on video. So I'm just going to go in there, make that number 11, and click save. So there we go. We got our store, the first 2 items set. I'm now going to take that first item again, because I like to keep cloning that one whenever it makes sense. I'm going to copy it. The other 2 are enabled. This one is disabled, and that's the one I want. Now this is the women's shirt, and the women's shirt is going to have some differences. So I'm going to click here. I'm going to remember it this time. There. It is item 12. Now, I have this document. It's text file, and this is where all of this information that appears here, well, it's also all these too. I've got it all here. As you'll notice, I put this here. You can see Nike Team Legend Short Sleeve Crew T-shirt, Nike Team Legend Short Sleeve Crew T-shirt. This is where this comes from, and I'm going to copy that. And actually, I'm going to move this off the screen. You can see, because it'll be easier for me. So I've copied it, and I'm going to put it here. Now with women's, a majority of our sales are the adult size. Most women are buying. Went around on this early on, and I'm going to replace that with the women's. And because we don't need to do an adult size for women's are always adult. I can get rid of the words adult size. So I've just pasted that in, and I'm going to come down here and do the same thing. I'm going to copy, or I'm going to paste right there over the top of that. And then I'm going to scroll down. The meta tag title is going to be exactly the same thing. The meta tag description, exactly the same thing. And then for every item in this revised descriptions document, I've got the words that are the meta tag keywords. Now for all the t-shirts, they're the same. But when you get down here to the cotton, the word cotton is there. The hoodies, it's hoodie, sweatshirt, fleece. So anyway, you copy and paste that. Now because all the t-shirts are the same, I don't actually have to change it here. For the first, the short sleeve and long sleeve shirts, they have the same keywords. So next thing I need to do is I need to get all this text. I'm going to copy from my document. And all this text is going to be replaced with the item-specific text for the women's shirt. And I like to turn these into bullets, and I do that by highlighting and then clicking the bullet icon, and then I do it here. And I try to grab the text so that product details and benefits are not grabbed, so you can manage the headings this way. And that finishes this page. So I'm going to click data. Now I need to grab, I was going to show you this too, bring the revised descriptions document down, and this is the item number, and it's the item number without the color code, so I can grab it from here. Oftentimes I'll just grab it from the spreadsheet I'm working with, but for us today I'm using the grabbing it from here, and I paste it in. Nothing else changes. So I'm going to scroll down. The women's shirt is $25. I have to click here to turn it on, make it enabled. Under links, we're not going to do anything. We don't do a special category for women's sizes, and usually, and the stores that should have maintained from being copied. I'll just scroll down and prove that. It's weird that it makes my page scroll. But there it is. See, it's already checked. I don't have to do anything there. So under option, the name text and printed name are still options. They're all live. I don't have to do anything there. Actually, I'm going to go. I forgot to grab the code. All right. Come on. All right. Copy and go to option and size. And women's comes in extra small, and so what I'm going to do is I'll get to that in a minute, but because I don't want to have to rearrange everything, I'm just going to paste and type in S for small, medium, large, extra large, and this and set the size to extra small. And then I've got to remember we don't want to upcharge for an extra small shirt, so I change that to 0. And then there is no XXX women, so I'm just going to hit the minus on that, so that goes away. So now there are 5 sizes for women: small, medium, large, extra large, and extra small. I'm going to go over here to image and click here. and grab the short sleeve women's shirt and click Save. So for this example, this is as far as we're going to go on adding items to the store. We have 3 items, and I'll show you. I can do this. One moment. Come on. California redfish. And you'll see that we've added those items, but of course they are not appearing here. The featured section, you might remember, I told you is something we set up manually, and we do that at the end. But the youth sizes, if I click here, you'll see that the youth shirt is there. And all we did that by setting up the link to youth sizes. So I'm going to take that away for a second. And I'm going to go over here to extensions. When we were building the shell, you might remember we set up the featured section. We're going to go back to it now. It's been waiting for us. Click on modules. Wait for the computer to catch up. And scroll down to California redfish. And I'm now going to edit it. And if you were watching that video, you noticed that I didn't have the word featured after it, and I should have. But now I'm back, I can fix it. So under products, I'm going to start typing in California, and I don't have to go very far, and it's appearing. It's in the featured section. Now I'm going to copy this and now paste that to bring me back to this, so I don't have to keep retyping it. Because what's going to happen is the store gets bigger, is I'm going to, there will be 10 through 19 listed, and I'll want to add them, well, and even beyond. So I copy that. Now use sizes, so I don't want this in the featured area, so I'm going to pick number 12, and I'm going to click Save, and then I'll bring back this screen and show you that those 2 items now are in our featured area. I'll click on one of them, and here is all that we set up, and the sizes are here, and you can see that there's a $5 and a $10 upcharge for those larger sizes. The printed name on back has a little red asterisk. It means it's a required field. And you can see that there's a $10 upcharge there for the printed name on back. And the name text is not a required field because people might say no here. But the text field, they could still put whatever they want there. The item is set. So that's it. That's how you add a simple item to a store. That's it for this video. Of course, if you have questions, you can always reach out to me. I am rmiller at gearupsports.net, and always happy to answer questions. Thank you for your attention, and we'll chat again soon.